So today we're going to talk about one of the most important things in life, and it's not love or coffee, it's amino acids. And if you're wondering why I'm saying this, well, let me explain. But first of all, welcome back. This is actually a 3-part video series leading up to one of the most interesting diseases or toxin that there is. It's a weird one. It's like the zombie apocalypse of diseases. So amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. The proteins are the machines in our body. They're responsible for all kinds of things. It's like movement, communication, protection, digestion, everything. And they're called amino acids because of their structure. So let's look at one. Here is one of the most basic ones. It's called alanine. We have the NH2 part, which is the amine group on one side, and then this part, which is the acid group, on the other side. So this is why they're called amino acids. And I mentioned we have 21 different ones of them. So they're differentiated by this group, which is the R or the rest group. And depending on what is on the side chain, we can divide them into different groups. These groups are polar, non-polar, charged, so either positively, negatively charged, and the special cases. So let's dive into those a bit more. So let's start with the polar group. So this might seem like a little bit trivial chemistry-ish, but it will become very important later on. To understand what it means, whether something is polar, we have to look at molecular structures. So here we have a basic model of an atom. Here's the core or the nucleus in the middle, and then around it are the electrons. The nucleus is positively charged and the electrons around it are negatively charged. When atoms come together to form molecules, they share electrons. If a molecule is considered polar, this means that the electrons have a tendency to hang out on one side of the molecule and not so much on the other side. Water is a good example for this. So here we have water and the electrons are slightly more on this side than on the other side. So this is water. Water is polar. It is. So one side is more negatively charged and the other side is more positively charged. So because of this distribution, polar molecules have a tendency to interact with other molecules. So if they were people, they would be the extroverts. So non-polar molecules, on the other hand, are molecules where the electrons are equally distributed within the molecule. If they would be people, they would be the introverts. They're very content by themselves and don't like to interact much. So if you look at stuff from our own lives, water is polar and things like oils are non-polar. And these two don't like to mix. So that is about these groups. Then we have the amino acids with a charge on the side chain, so either positively or negatively charged. If it is negatively charged, that means there's an extra electron somewhere. In our daily lives, these are substances which we consider acidic. If this side chain is positively charged, it means there's an electron less. So in our daily lives, it's the substances that we would call basic. Not this kind of basic, this kind of basic, so the opposite of acidic. And then there's the special cases. These kind of deserve their own video. This video is long enough as it is, so I'll leave that for a later video. So now in our bodies, the ribosome links these amino acids together to form proteins. And this is what we're going to talk about in the next video. If you have a clue what this is leading up to, leave it in the comments and the first one to have the right answer will get a present. I'll give you the hint that it's about proteins and zombie apocalypse. Hope you learned something. See you next week. Ciao!